Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at cellular respiration in detail. I spoke to you guys a little bit about this section. It's very complicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make 3 different videos, one for each section of cellular respiration. So as you guys know from last section, you have glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chain. So this particular video is just going to deal with glycolysis. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit on the board at a time. Write down what you see on the board and then make sure you're listening to what I'm saying so you can make some connections. So the first set of reactions in cellular respiration is known as glycolysis, which is a word that literally means sugar breaking. Glycolysis involves many chemical steps that transform glucose. Glycolysis actually contains 10 different steps that have these highly scientific names attached to them and things coming and things going. Again, I'm going to break it down for you so you understand it at a more convenient level for everybody involved. So basically, regardless of how you get there, the end result of glycolysis is 2 molecules of a 3-carbon molecule called pyruvic acid. Remember, during glycolysis, 1 molecule of glucose, which is a 6-carbon molecule, is transformed into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, which is considered a 3-carbon molecule. So the first thing we're going to talk about is ATP and the ATP production. So even though glycolysis is an energy-releasing process, the cell needs to put a little bit of energy in to get things going. So at the pathway's beginning, 2 ATP molecules are used up. So these 2 ATP molecules are used at the onset or the beginning of glycolysis are like an investment that pays back interest. In order to earn interest from a bank, you first need to put money into the account. Although the cell puts 2 ATP molecules into the account to get glycolysis kind of going, glycolysis produces 4 ATP molecules total, which, if you do the math, gives the cell a net gain of 2 ATP molecules for each molecule of glucose. So again, you have 4 molecules produced, but because we had to use 2 to get things going, we get a net total of 2 ATP. So now we're going to talk about NADH production. One of the reactions of glycolysis removes 4 electrons. Now in a high energy state and passes them to an electron carrier called NAD+. So similar to NADP in photosynthesis, each NAD+ molecule accepts a pair of high energy electrons. This molecule, once it accepts those electrons, is now known as NADH, holds on to these electrons until they can be transferred to other molecules. As you're going to see, in the presence of oxygen, these high energy electrons can be produced even more ATP molecules. So basically, we get 2 molecules of NADH produced for each round of glycolysis. So, and then the 2 molecules of pyruvic acid is also produced, which we mentioned earlier. So in the process of glycolysis, 4 ATP molecules are created from 4 ADP molecules, as you can see. Given that 2 ATP molecules are used to start the process, right here, there is a net gain of just 2 ATP molecules, mentioned up here. Although the energy yield from glycolysis is small, meaning we only get a net gain of 2 ATPs, the process is so fast it can produce thousands of ATP molecules in just a few milliseconds. The speed of glycolysis can be a very big advantage when the energy demands of a cell suddenly increase. Besides speed, so that's the first advantage. Besides speed, another advantage of glycolysis is that the process itself does not require oxygen. This means that glycolysis can quickly supply chemical energy to cells when oxygen is not available. And that's very important. When oxygen is available, however, the pyruvic acid in NADH outputs generated during glycolysis becomes input for other processes of cellular respiration.